Okay, for this part of the series, we're going to go over the interface that is AutoCAD. Um, eh, in the olden days, they like to take the interface for AutoCAD and move toolbars around and different things like that. And it sometimes got a little confusing, especially if you didn't have your workspace set up. However, if you learn the concept behind some of the spaces, AutoCAD gets easier no matter what they make the platform look like in the future. So a few things that I just want to point out. The big black space that my mouse is in right now is the drawing space. That's where all the magic happens. The way you think of this is it's infinite space, universal space. And you should draw everything one-to-one in this space. It did used to be where you would sometimes scale it so you can see how it looked, but Autodesk has done some things where you don't need to necessarily scale inside of model space is what we call it anymore. It can be done in paper space fairly easily, and you can still work back and forth. So this is model space. The other way that you know it, or like I said, this is the drawing window for, or drawing area for model space. And also, if you look down here in the bottom left corner, you'll see these tabs at the bottom, and this is where we are. Usually your first indication is it's a black screen. There are some people who like to go through and change it to white screens, but there's no need here. I usually keep it as is. This space over here on the left-hand side is your properties box. And now remember, I put this over here. I docked this in the last video to this spot. And if you don't remember seeing this, maybe you didn't see the last video. And I strongly recommend you go back and watch the first part of the series so that you can see that, yes, I did actually take this properties box. I opened it up and I docked it over here in the corner. Just simply because I find myself using it on a very regular basis. Up top, these are called ribbons. This platform is actually based off of the Windows platform. So usually whenever Windows changes up the way that their platform looks, that's when AutoCAD, or should I say Autodesk this time, will change up the way their softwares match the Windows platform. I usually like to tell people the way this goes, at least in the home ribbon, this is where you're probably going to do most of your work, unless you're doing some really complicated things. But if you're just doing a simple drawing, it's all here in the home ribbon. You have your drawing tools, you have your modification tools, some basic annotation tools, your layer tools, even some of your blocking tools, your inserting tools, and once again, the properties as well. So a lot of stuff actually gets done in this ribbon. It's just sometimes when you want to do a little bit more, you then go to these next ribbons, and I'm just going to briefly show them to you. This is the insert ribbon, so which was block plus, a few more things like XREFing and various items, and we'll get into that. Annotation, obviously, it's a much more to do on this one. Parametric is if you want to get into constraints and some parameters on some of the blocks and various pieces of the model, or excuse me, not model drawing, they would be here in parametric. You also have ways where you can control your view. Some project management, user interface properties here in manage. Output is essentially how are you sending this out, delivering it, should I say, whether it's plotted or it's exported or even if it's PDF'd and published, so on and so forth. And then some of this stuff here towards the end actually becomes more add-ins than anything. I'll have more stuff on mine than you may have on yours, or you may have more stuff on yours than I have on mine. It just depends on what add-ins you pulled in and put on there. So I'm not going to actually go over these, maybe except for Express Tools, where it shows some of the quick annotation items out there, such as the multi-leaders, text modifications, various things like that you'll see that are common items inside of a architectural drawing, drafted drawing, should I say. They're here inside of Express Tools, so it makes life a little bit easier for you. So this is the interface. As always, the A, but I always say the A because I like people to be able to understand, you know, that's the application menu. Sometimes people can't see that. Yes, this is the application menu. This is where your new open save, all that good stuff happens. You also have your quick access toolbar, which is up here to the top, which can be modified or customized however you want it, depending on the items that you use. And you just come over here to this drop down and change that information out. Obviously, this is the name of the program that you're working in. A lot of times the file name that you're working in, which is actually comes in handy, especially when you have multiple files open. Before you go doing changes that you didn't mean to do, always check up here, make sure you're in the correct file. Here's also this is for your help. If you get stuck on anything and you're like, I just can't remember, go up here, type it in and see where it takes you, what information it gives you. This is your subscription information for if you are a member of Autodesk, which most of you should be if you downloaded the software to your computer. And it's just information they keep up with you for your specific account when it comes to Autodesk. Or like I said, they like to call it Communication Center. Last but not least, and actually not last, let me do two more things. This is your view cube. This is how you go from top to any type of isometric views, to any oblique views, orthographic views, such as front, bottom, side, north, south, east, west. You can manipulate all of those inside of your view cube. You also have your command line, which is down here at the bottom. Remember, once again, this is something that I docked to the bottom of my screen. And here are the rest of your modification tools, or at least like your snap mode, your polar, if you turn your polar on or off, if you have any other types of annotations, scales that you want to set, your workspace settings, so on and so forth. Even if you want to switch back and forth between model space and paper space, you can do it down here at the bottom. And that is it. Stay tuned for the next part of the series. If you have any questions or any other pieces on the interface that I did not go over, please let me know. Thanks once again.